Welcome to our live stream. I'm here today with art prof teaching artist Jordan McCracken-Foster and Lauryn Welch. Today we are talking about inspirational art books. If you would like to grow as an artist and you can't afford an art class, we've got everything you need here at Art Prof, critiques and tutorials. Let's jump right in because Lauryn and Jordan have an amazing range of books. And I think what you guys will find is that there's a very diverse range of books. We've got academic books and how-to books. So start taking notes. By the way, there are links in the description below for all the books that we're going to be mentioning in today's stream. Those are Amazon affiliate links. A small percentage does go to Art Prof. Lauryn, tell us about The Artist's Guide by Jackie Battenfield.
The Artist's Guide is a book that was recommended to me in college in my senior year before I was about to graduate. And it's kind of like a how-to for artists, all different types of artists, but fits really well for the painter freelancer in me. I've got it right here, actually. Take it with me everywhere. I have never read it cover to cover. It's not that kind of book, but any type of thing, you know how we do these videos on like, oh, how to sell artwork, how to make a website. So before Art Prof existed, this book existed, and this is where I've gotten a lot of my advice, and it's done me a lot of good. It also tells you how to file your taxes as an artist and keep track of all your receipts. So it's very, very important, super helpful.
I would also add, you guys, a lot of people who have not gone to art school yet ask me, oh, they'll go over this in art school, right? Jordan, do they cover this in art school?
No, they do not. You have to corner a teacher and beg them to tell you. That's pretty much it. That was my experience, at least. Yeah.
You guys are on your own in terms of this stuff. So between us and this book, you guys will be fine because we go over a lot of the logistical parts of the business side of being an artist. But I also think that it's really helpful to hear another person's point of view. Don't you think, Lauryn?
Oh, yeah. I think Jackie Battenfield is kind of one of those people that I've heard her name a lot in my specific circle as a tried and true person to listen to. And so I can look at like very emotional things like money, for instance, and feel like I'm getting like a really firm answer because other people use her. There's this kind of like common language. So it really helps me with some of those things that I feel not super great about.
Okay, next up is How to Draw Environments by Scott Robertson. Jordan, this is your pick. Tell us about this book.
So like Lauryn, I have my book right here. And this is a book that teaches you how to use perspective, particularly for entertainment design. So whether you're drawing vehicles, planes, cars, or environments, those are all included in there. And it's super in-depth. It even talks about like camera angles and lenses and stuff. And it's really in-depth and really helpful. I've used it a lot.
Now, Jordan, I'm looking at these drawings and they're really, really scary and intimidating looking. How much does this book break it down? Because I look at this and I am like, I can't do that.
I don't know how well people will be able to see it, but it breaks down things like step by step. So there's all these guides, and it's like a it's literally a how to draw, like step 1, step 2, step 3. And what's really cool about this book, if you have an iPad or a tablet, there's actually an app that goes along with the book. And if you scan it over the icon, it actually has a video that it'll play, and you get to see him draw the exact thing that's on the page. And so it's really, really awesome.
Is he on YouTube?
Yes, Scott Robertson's on YouTube.
Oh, well, that's really nice. So actually you have both to work from.
Mm-hmm. But the videos on YouTube aren't necessarily the ones in the book. So I think there's more in the book than there is on his channel.
Cool. Good to know, because actually a couple of people we're looking at today do have a YouTube presence. And so what I found really fun is when you find a book and then you can enhance it with some of the videos. That's super useful. I mean, Lauryn, would you ever pick up a book like this? I wouldn't.
Oh my God. So this is where Jordan and I are extremely different because I The last time I used a how to draw book was literally when I was 6 or 7 years old drawing things from the Titanic. I have not used one since. I can't learn that way. It doesn't work very well. I need like an in-person interaction going on. But I do find I do really like that idea of having this online element where you can see stuff happening. Like as soon as you said that, I was like, oh my God, I really want to try this out because that is something that is more interactive that I could learn with. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, let's move on to Bonnard, who is an impressionist painter who Lauryn likes just a little bit. Lauryn, tell us about Bonnard.
Bonnard is my favorite of all of the artists ever, and it was this book that got me really into him. Originally, my favorite French painter was Vuillard, Edouard Vuillard, and he does more patterny, drapery kind of stuff, and then there was Bonnard. And what's cool about Bonnard is that he just lived in the country, not in the city like I did, and he had his wife, long-term partner, who had a disability, so they had this kind of like caretaker artist inspiration relationship that was also like mirroring my life. I thought it was like super beautiful, and he was just painting like cats, and like he hides cats in all his paintings. He painted landscapes. He was like, I find him like a really legitimate, beautiful, like very intelligent painter, but he's not painting things that are like super intellectual and deep. It's like all in the way that he's painting. And the essays in this book, particularly the one by John Elderfield, are like really helped me empathize with him and really change my life and my identity as an artist. I've got it right here, and you can see like all of my bookmarks in it. I actually have, fewer than usual, but I take it also everywhere with me.
Lauryn, that's what I do with my cookbooks. All my cookbooks have Post-its on all the recipes that I want to do.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's a recipe kind of thing. Like I look at him for his color palettes. And so, for instance, I wanted to do a palette that looked like this painting here. So that's why I have it bookmarked.
Yeah. Very cool. And I just, what's really interesting is all these different books. It's like sometimes I look at these books and I can't wrap my head around it. And so that's one of the things I really like about hearing everybody's different book lists, because I'll tell you, Lauryn, I'm not a fan of Bonnard. I know you're going to just like murder me for saying that.
I'm not,
but I can totally see the influence.
I to each their own, Clara. We've got very different styles. It's fine.
Yes, I know. That's what makes us so strong as a team, right?
Exactly.
That was so sweet.
Tammy is saying, wow, Bonnard paintings looks a lot like your style, Lauryn, and he loves cats. And Trent Lucier says, Bonnard did lots of great sketches of his wife. And subscribe to Art Prof, cool username, by the way, says, Lauryn, can you show us your 6-year-old drawings? Do you still have those, Lauryn?
Oh my God. I am going home either this weekend or next weekend. I will, back up to the country. I will look for them. I know exactly where they are in my parents' basement. I'll pull them out.
Oh my God, we should do an Art Prof stream where we all show our children's work.
Oh, that'd be great. That'd be so
Wait, Jordan, do you have any left?
My mom saved everything. I don't have it with me, but if I were to ask her to send pictures, she would send them to me.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious. Because I have everything. I have my old sketchbooks from when I was like 5.
Or is this a secret Patreon secret? Because I think mine are too embarrassing to put on screen here. There's a lot of bad anime in there.
Well, we'll see what Kat has. Kat probably has a lot more Naruto than you do.
You'd be surprised. I've got my own Kakashi, Naruto, Sasuke stuff in there.
Okay, so the next book is Battlecry, The Art of Samurai Champloo. And Jordan, this is your pick.
Yeah, so it's a great segue since we just talked about anime. It's the art book to the anime Samurai Champloo, which is one of my favorite shows. And I got this at CT Expo in 2012, which is an animation convention. and basically just shows all the behind the scenes artwork for the characters and environments and props for the show. And it's just so neat. There's not really any text. It's just all the artwork you could want to see.
Very cool. I mean, I've never heard of this show before, Jordan. Is it more of a show that's sort of under the radar? Because a lot of the shows that you usually show, I'm like, oh yeah, I know that. I don't know a lot about it. But this one I honestly have never heard of before.
Well, it's an older show. It's from 2004, and it's pretty popular. But with all the new stuff coming out nowadays, it's, I could see why most people maybe haven't heard of it. But it's one of those classics that if someone were to say, I want to get into anime, what should I watch? I would totally recommend Samurai Champloo to them. And so it's just one of those books that I feel really happy to have, because it's actually very hard to find a reasonable priced copy. I got this for like $40, and I remember one time I checked it, it was like $200. I was like, whew, I'm glad I have this. Wow. So yeah.
Oh, I love cheap art books.
It's the best.
Okay, let's take a look at House of Leaves. Lauryn, this is your pick. Tell us about this book.
Oh, so this book is not, how do I explain this book? It is not an art book in the traditional sense. It is like a graphic designer's nightmare. And actually, I would probably consider this book my favorite book of all time, or one of my favorite books of all time. And I say that because, like, look at this. I have not just one copy, but 2 copies of it. 2 of the exact same copy. Because it's such an amazing book that if I ever see someone and they're like, and we get along, I'll be like, here, I want you to read this. And it's okay if you don't give it back as long as you read it. I do this with a couple books. I think The Black Swan is like the other book I do this with. But anyways, I wanted to show you the inside of this book. It's so it's like the structure of it is very crazy. Oh man, how do I, like, there are pages that are like totally empty, and then pages that have like, I want to get to like it's like a labyrinth.
Whoa. Like, how do you read that?
It's an adventure. Like, you go back and forth and in and out and upside down, and there are like all these like puzzles in it. It's a narrative about a house that expands on the inside but is the same size on the outside. It's a horror like love story. And what I think is really brilliant about this book is that it is, the form of the book matches the content of the book, which is not something that you see a lot of unless it's really overly thought out. And I think that this is just a beautiful form of architecture and graphic design in a book format. So it's a long read. It's a little bit difficult, but it's totally worth it. And it's really like a heart-rending kind of story.
Nathan Pennington is saying, my name is Asher Lev is my favorite art-related book. It's about an American Jew who was born as an art prodigy and is torn between religion and his art. I highly recommend it. Yeah, if you guys have any art book recommendations or books that inspired you, they don't have to be necessarily art books. Tell us in the chat, because I feel like the last time we did this stream, we got so many great recommendations. And actually in the Discord, we do have a whole channel that's just about books. So probably what I'll do later is post the actual list from the stream in that channel. And that way you guys can take a look at that. And Jordan, Blue Will Spirit is asking to see your t-shirt. So I think you better stand up.
Art.org.
This
in the
was
back.
actually designed by my younger daughter several years ago, because she drew this drawing of me just spontaneously, and it looks just like me. Like, Lauryn, isn't that my grouchy professor face?
I think we convinced you to put this on a shirt because it was so good. It's such a grouchy Clara moment.
Anyway, that shirt actually is available in our merch shop. So if you guys go to artprof.org and you click on shop, you'll be able to get one. All right, Jordan, we've got Marvel's Black Panther, The Art of the Movie. Tell us about this book.
All right, so Black Panther, obviously, one of the big blockbuster movies the last couple of years, and it just shows the development process of the entire film. And so there's just, let me see, there's a bunch of concept art paintings. This is Killmonger's mask, and I really like it because it takes from a lot of different African cultures, and they go into the specifics of what culture they were taking from, why they chose the colors that they did. Some of the art isn't actually pretty per se, but a lot of it is really just about the concept and the world building behind it, and that's what I really appreciate about it.
And by the way, Jordan, you're not the only one who can get inspired by Black Panther. I actually did an anatomy stream on the front torso, and Killmonger and what's his name? I can't remember the main guy. Chadwick.
T'Challa.
Yes, that's right. I can't remember the names. Anyway, they both have really nice clavicles, so I put them into my anatomy stream. So if you guys ever want to see some hot Black men, they're in here. So anyway, let's take a look at Tell Me Something Good, which is artist interviews from the Brooklyn Rail. So Lauryn, why don't you just tell people what the Brooklyn Rail is first, because maybe not everybody's heard of it.
For sure. The Brooklyn Rail is a free art magazine that is printed and distributed around New York City. And you can pick up their copies like at galleries, you can find them at museums, but mostly I actually haven't read a lot of the physical copies. I go online to see all their show reviews and stuff, and then to read the artist interviews. And they came out with this book a few years ago called Tell Me Something Good that includes some of their best interviews by all different types of artists, painters, illustrators, architects, sculptors, a whole gamut of artists, performance artists. And they're often really inspiring because there is no one universal way to think about art and look at art. And it's all about this process of growing into the artists that they are now. Generally, they're fairly famous, well-known artists now, but they all started out in this relatable kind of way, except in the previous generation usually. And when I was going through a really deep rut, it was a good book for me to read to get some inspiration and keep moving.
And by the way, Brooklyn Rail is a really good publication. If you guys want to stay on top of contemporary art, I would say Brooklyn Rail, also Hyper Allergic, Artsy, and ArtNet. Those are all really good free publications you can read online. Because I know a lot of people tell me they have trouble figuring out where to look for contemporary art. And those are all really excellent inspirations. All right, let's take a look at the Art of Moana. Let's get into that, Jordan.
All right, so this was actually a birthday gift a few years ago, and it's based on the Disney film Moana. And if anything I could say about that movie is that it's just gorgeous to look at. And so it has all the development art for the different characters, the props. So this is Maui's hook, and let's see, just different concept art paintings here. And it's just a joy to look at. It's really great to study the colors and to just study. So sometimes I'll look at the book and I'll go on my Cintiq and I'll just look at it and try and do a copy of it or study of it. It's just fantastic. So if you're interested in animation, this is a really great book for you.
Well, and Jordan, I feel like the two movie books that you recommended between Black Panther and Moana, these are such good examples of how to brainstorm and research, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. That's actually the Black Panther book in particular. I bought that specifically for research for my project. And it's just such a great thing to have a huge library of this stuff. Because when you're working on your own projects and let's say Pinterest isn't doing it for you, or, Google Images or something, you can go to one of your favorite books and just look in there and just feel inspired almost instantly. And all you have to do is walk to your bookshelf. That's great.
Yeah, Yvonne Strong is saying, my greatest inspiration later in life is the art of the Lord of the Rings movies, and I have all of the art of books for it. Yeah, Lauryn, Did you ever watch those making of DVD things of Lord of the Rings? I don't know if you're old enough, but...
No, I was. So Lord of the Rings, the movies came out after I read the Lord of the Rings. I was a very precocious child, read these books when I was like 10. And then the movies started coming out when I was 11. And again, this is something where Jordan and I don't actually meet up very much. I don't have any making of books at all, except for the Lord of the Rings. And in that case, I have every single making of book. Like,
wow, I would not have expected that from you, Lauryn.
I was a super fan of Orlando Bloom playing Legolas. Orlando Bloom's a terrible actor, but like, come on, Legolas is the best elf in the world. Like,
you know what? I was like traumatized when I found out that Orlando Bloom wasn't blonde. Like, he doesn't look that great.
Yeah.
He looks much better as an elf.
He does. That was his one good role, and it was great because he didn't speak. He said like the only things he spoke were like in Elvish or something about like the wind or blood or something poetic, and then he looked off into the distance.
Wait, are you into Lord of the Rings, Jordan? I wasn't sure.
I've never seen it. So I remember going over to friends' houses and I'll be like, I heard Lord of the Rings is really cool. And they'd be like, it's good, but it's too long. And, you know, we want to play video games and stuff. So I never got a chance to watch it. And now I'm just like, whatever. So, you know, it is what it is.
Okay, here's what we're going to do, Jordan. I'm going to watch Avatar and you're going to watch Lord of the Rings.
Okay, deal.
That's what we're going to do, just to cover all of our bases. Okay, up next is Ways of Seeing by John Berger. And this is your pick, Lauryn.
I think Ways of Seeing is really good. I mean, Ways of Seeing is a good book for any period of time, but I think it's also really good for right now in this period of crisis when we don't really understand as artists what we're meant to do to be a part of whatever we want to be a part of in the world right now. It's in Ways of Seeing, John Berger is talking about images and how images affect people. One of my favorite and some of the chapters are just images, like just pictures, and you read it like that. And then the next chapter would be like, oh, what did you get out of this? Like, did you notice these two images like lining up with each other? And he talks about things. One of my favorite chapters is on the male gaze and the female gaze. I didn't even realize there was a gaze. And then I read this in college and I was like, whoa, there really is a difference. So it is one of those theory books, but it's like passable light reading because half the book is just pictures. And there's also an a visual version on BBC. They did like an actual lecture kind of thing. Like it started out as a TV show and then he made this book.
Angelic Enigma is saying there's something that remains consistently wonderful about the physical book to hold and scrutinize it. Do you think so, Jordan?
Oh, definitely. I rely on the physical copy. There's something about having it that just makes it feel more real, more authentic. And I have digital copies of a lot of the art books I have, but that's more of like if I'm out and about and I don't want to carry 10 pounds of books and stuff like that, that's when I'll use it. But I love having the physical copy.
I mean, I'm the same way. I oftentimes do not read on a tablet because I just like paper. There's something about it, like turning the pages, it just feels more concrete. And also, I think I associate tablets with being on my phone and checking social media. And I'm just in a different frame of mind. When I have a physical book, I feel like the world slows down a little bit. And that's what it does for me. It just feels like a different place in a way.
Do you guys smell your books?
No.
Yeah. Do I sell my books?
Smell them. Okay, never mind.
There, for new books, there is a very strong smell, but I don't go like, I don't do.
Wow.
Okay, we need to know in the chat, who in the chat is a weirdo like Lauryn and sniffs their books?
They smell good.
Hey, whatever floats your boat, Lauryn, that's cool. Okay, now we have Imaginative Realism by James Gurney. And Jordan, this is your pick.
Yeah, so I talked about James Gurney in our previous stream about with art books, and he did Color and Light as well. And this is his second book, Imaginative Realism. And what's cool about this one is it's literally written on the cover, how to paint what doesn't exist. And so it's a great reference. So it shows you how to exaggerate. It talks about how to make maquettes and your own references, how to use different animals and create your own creatures out of them. So it's got this blend between illustration and concepting that I think is really, really helpful. And he lays it all out in this book in a very nice, clean, and precise way.
We have a question from Valerie. They are asking, do you know of any good books that will teach one about the art market? Lauryn, why don't you take that?
Oh man, it depends what art market you're really looking at. I would go back to the first book really that I was talking about, the Jackie Battenfield book. She gives a lot of good information on how to both work with galleries and exhibitions and dealers and all that, and then also how you do that on your own like business end. Like it's really a book about being the business of being an artist. About like the larger market, I would have to think about that, and I can put in a recommendation in the Discord afterwards. But there is a really good documentary that we were just watching called There Are No Fakes, that is about this crazy like faking in the like creating fake artwork for this particular artist, and then it's like gaslit about it, that like he forgot that he made the pieces, and it's like really ridiculous, and then they get sold for lots of money. So that's a good art market thing to watch. I'll put in the Discord.
I mean, Valerie, my answer to that is that the art market changes so much and so fast that a book probably isn't the best resource, because it's not going to be very up to date. Books take so long to publish. So I would say read Hyperallergic and Brooklyn Rail and Artsy and Artnet, and that will probably give you a more accurate sense of what is out there. Lauryn, it looks like there are a lot of other weirdos like you who smell books.
It's not
Let's
that
see
weird.
what people are.
Weird. You guys are weird for not liking the smell of books.
Nathan and Zed. Nathan says, yes, books smell amazing. Zed says, no, most books smell good. Keith says, yes, that old book smell. And Ripple of Aqua says, hell yeah, I smell my books. They're amazing.
So here's the next
question. I are the weirdos.
This is the real Huh?
I just said maybe we are the weirdos.
Well, so you have to realize that this is a connoisseur kind of thing. Different publishers have different smells for their books, and then there's also old book smell versus new book smell. Like old book smell is kind of like library, like grandpa-y smelling, and new book smell is like really sharp and crisp and smells like ink, and it's like, or like a new newspaper, that's also a great smell.
Okay, Lauryn, someday you can lead a whole tutorial on
Yeah, well, that'll be our next art prof video, guys.
Exactly.
The pH balance and everything, I could see it.
Okay, Lauryn, your next book is The Birds of America by John James Audubon. What about this book?
I love this book. This is actually a newly acquired book for me. A very, very kind person back in my hometown who's also an artist gave me this book for free. This book costs like something ridiculous, like $300. It's got over 400 plate illustrations in it. So it's like, and they're all color, and it's like every bird in North America. And there are all these watercolor drawings by Audubon and his team of workers, you know? And I'm a huge birder and look at it just for the birds and how kooky they look, but I've also used it a lot in figuring out how to create interesting images for my own artwork and my own birds. Because it's one thing to just like Google an image or like draw a bird from life or whatever, but it's another to create a whole orchestrated scene around that bird. So it's been extremely helpful. It's like a 30-pound book. It's enormous. It's huge. And it's just like my favorite resource ever.
Tom G, thank you so much for the super chat. We always appreciate your support because I think, as many of you know, our content is 100% free and we rely entirely on donations to keep Art Prof up and running. Jordan, your next book is The Legend of Korra, Book 2, Spirits.
Okay, so everyone who knows me knows I'm a huge fan of Avatar, The Last Airbender, and The Legend of Korra. But this particular book, I like it a lot because of the color and the environments. Also, fun fact, I got it signed by Brian Canetzo. I had to show that. It just makes it so much cooler. So this book is mine. But I love the environment paintings, especially. Out of all the books that I have for Avatar, this one, I think, takes the cake. And again, it's like the other books I've shown. It's got storyboards, with the camera concept art, different characters and stuff like that. And because it's one of my favorite shows and I really want to learn how to draw in this style, I was just attracted to it. So yeah, I love it.
Awesome. All right, let's take a look at, we also have this stream where you guys get to hear Jordan talk about Avatar some more, as well as other topics. So if you guys did not watch the stream and you're really into Avatar, you might want to check this out. Okay, Lauryn, your next book is Votive by Adam Lee.
Yeah, this one's kind of like a shot in the dark, really. Like Adam Lee, I don't feel like is particularly super well known. He's an Australian artist, painter that makes paintings that have a spiritual kind of backing to them. I mean, votive is a kind of, like prayer. I don't actually know the definition of votive. I just remember that as a spiritual kind of thing. Anyways, I'm really interested in the paintings and the way that he like makes them. I can show some images here if you want. Like they're very washy, but they also are very vibrant. And I tend to paint very flat. So when I see, here's a great one. When I see artwork like this that has both patterning and saturation, but in this way that's very dynamic, I'm just like trying to learn all of his secrets, you know? He's great.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see the influence. I mean, that's what's sort of fun for me is to look at your book recommendations and think about how it relates to you guys as artists. It's just really fun, I think, to see those connections with the books. All right, Jordan, we've got the Line Art Challenge. Tell us about this book.
All right, so this one is really interesting. It's I don't know if they're a bunch of friends or what it is, but there's 15 artists in here, and they just challenged each other to just do line art drawings of all this different stuff, and they're all from different countries like Belgium and Germany and Brazil. And so some of the stuff they have here is just random characters. They all have completely different styles, and it's just really simple drawings, you know. But I really appreciate it because you get to see all the things that these artists are trying to do, and it helps me as I'm trying to improve my line art and going throughout my artistic journey.
And by the way, we've got our own 2,500 drawing challenge in the Discord that Jordan is running. So Jordan, tell everybody about this.
So the 2,500 challenge is meant to make you really good, really fast. And the idea is in the course of a year, you would draw 2,500 drawings, which includes 1,000 heads, 500 arms, 500 legs, 250 hands, 250 feet. And each drawing's like 10 minutes or so. And it's more about just progress, not perfection. And so you're constantly trying to get better. And through that process, comparing the first drawing to 2,500, you'll see a drastic difference. I've seen it over and over again.
And Jordan, you managed to rope in Lauryn on this challenge. Lauryn, how is it going?
So, oh my God, I haven't done my heads today and I still have to, and I will. But I am so thrilled that Jordan is hosting this challenge. It reminds me of when I did P90X with RISD when I was in foundation year, where it's like really hard and you're like kicking yourself over like not being strong enough, but you see the progress really, really fast. Like I'm only 8 days in, so I've only done 80 drawings and I'm already seeing improvements. And I wouldn't have gotten this far if it wasn't for the community of people and just like the constant encouragement from everyone. Everybody's like super positive with each other and it's so cool.
It's really satisfying. And actually somebody sent me a message the other day. They said that drawing with other people is all the difference as opposed to just sitting by yourself. I mean, you don't even have to be drawing at the same time, just checking into the Discord. I mean, Jordan, how many new images do you see every day for this challenge?
I feel like every day there's like 5 new people that I see that I don't recognize. And so it's just drawing after drawing after drawing. And like Lauryn said, everyone's super encouraging on the chat. And so if someone needs help or maybe for whatever reason I'm not available or something, everyone's always, going in to help and give critique and, help each other out. And what I really appreciate is just everyone just wants to improve. It's just that simple. And so that community, I think, is so helpful, especially for a challenge like this, because I'll admit it is difficult at some points. And 2,500 is not a small number. So yeah, I just love seeing it grow, and it's only been a couple of weeks.
So join if you guys can. And the next book is Chromaphobia. Lauryn, this is your pick.
Yes. I've got this one too. It's right here. And Chromaphobia is by David Batchelor. And this, you guys who have been on Art Prof for a while know that I'm really into color, right? So that started with Chromaphobia, which is all about how color changes our perceptions, and it's a language that is very socially oriented. I've literally written in this book, penned it all up. And yeah. And so he starts in by talking about the color white and talking about how we always use white as this neutral kind of color, but it's like a neutral thing that means nothing. And it's the top of the hierarchy. Like when you're showing an apartment, everything's all clean and white, and galleries, they're the white cube. But he talks about how this is actually like a super Eurocentric, aggressive kind of worldview, this obsession with having things white, and that white actually does mean something, and white does come in many different colors. And it's just so crazy. And then he gets into the whole color world, and he uses a lot of pop culture references and uses a lot of books and movies. So it's fun having watching those or reading those in tandem with reading this book. And it's a short read too. It's only 100 pages.
That I like, Lauryn, because I have no attention span for books. It's terrible. I wish I was better about it. Okay, Lauryn, we've got Hakusai Manga, Volume 2, The Whole Earth Catalog. Jordan, have you heard of this book?
No.
See, I love that there's no crossover with you guys. It's just great. It's so different. So, Lauryn, tell us about this book.
This is a little book that I got at the New York book fair that happens at MoMA PS1 every year. I got this book in 2012 or 2013, a long time ago anyway. And Hokusai has several volumes of these. This is volume 2. This is the one that's full of all the animals, and they're basically just like his sketchbook almost. It's collections of different faces that he's done and animals. For instance, here's some little goats in here. I don't know if you can see that. And there's a camel. Wait, I don't know if you can see a camel. And so I reference this a lot because Hokusai has this fluidity and organicness to his drawings that I just don't have. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing Jordan's drawing challenge to begin with, is because I'm not a line artist. I don't do drawings. And so Hokusai actually probably did this challenge. He draws people in different poses, in a million different ways, and does it in one fluid mark. And so I just referenced this book for those kinds of pieces of artwork.
All right. And we also have Griffin and Sabine, which is a single book, but it's actually a part of a series of books that Lauryn can tell us about.
Yeah. So Griffin and Sabine, so I grew up as a mail artist, MAIL, postal artist. My dad is a mail artist, and that is where artists they create postcards and letters and stuff and create projects, and they send it through the mail. The mail is the vehicle that turns this art object into a functional object and a readable object and a connection with another person, but it's still art. It's really crazy. And so Nick Bantock created these beautiful forms of mail art in its book form. You can open up letters, and they're little postcards and little strings and little objects in it. It's almost like a pop-up book. And it's about this relationship between two people, Griffin and Sabine, who have never met each other. And Sabine might not even be real, honestly. But it's just so beautiful, and the artwork is gorgeous. It's all this collage painting. It was very formative for me when I was in high school.
Valerie is asking, how do you think we could get involved with mail art nowadays?
I'm so glad that you asked. So I would go to IUOMA, International Union of Male Artists, I believe it's .com, might be .org. Just Google International Union of Male Artists. You can find everybody in the Mail Art Network, and they post their addresses, and all you have to do is send something to someone's address on there, and they will send you something back. Mail art is very open. Anyone can join. You don't need any kind of fancy knowledge or schooling or anything. You just need to send someone a letter. Also, mail art exhibitions are the easiest way to get a whole bunch of those addresses. If you send something to a mail art open call, they will send you an address list of everybody that also did the open call that wants to be mailed to.
Very cool. Check it out, guys. We have an Art Prof share today, which is where one of you makes a response to one of our tutorials. And today we have a piece by Veronica Eber. Veronica is a 15-year-old artist attending an arts high school. She's trying to expand upon her skills. And so Veronica did these drawings of her guinea pigs, which I just love because, as you know, I've got 3 guinea pigs myself. And this was actually based on a cat drawing tutorial that features Lauryn and I. So Jordan, take a look at Veronica's guinea pig drawings. What do you think about these?
I think they're really fun and expressive. I think one of the hangups that a lot of people will get when they're trying something new is they get really stiff with their mark making. And with this, it's just like, nope, I'm just going for it. And you feel that energy and it feels so alive. And I think that's probably like the thing that it covers the whole page and it draws me in a lot.
Yeah, and Veronica explains in her statement, by the way, all of her information's in the video description below, that the exercise improves on drawing speed, looseness, having confidence in the sketching, and that long term, the skills are going to help her bring the visions of her head into life and to get the expressiveness in her work moving forward. By the way, some of you guys have been asking me to see more guinea pigs. And if you didn't know this, they are the stars of our creature design tutorial. So if you guys have not seen this tutorial, you get to see all 3 of them. This is Fluffy. He's the oldest one. There's also Jub Jub, who is a little bit of a spaz. He goes everywhere. And we also have Wheat, although they're a lot bigger now because they were like babies when we shot this. But anyway, if you want to see my guinea pigs in action, that's where they are. And Lauryn, what's your take on Veronica's drawings?
Veronica looks like they're having a party on this paper. Like, this looks like so much fun. You've got the different colors, different experimentations with media. Like, I don't even know, are those guinea pigs there in that second image watercolor, the bottom ones? I love that illustration so much. There's just this flow and this dash of ink on there. And you can see this very organic flow from these first beginning drawings of the guinea pigs to that last image there. It just feels like the perfect progression of warm up to excellently executed piece of work. Like, I would especially like consider this page like portfolio worthy almost. If we're talking about those kinds of images that we like to show process, those sketchbook thinking images, like this is a great gesture drawing.
Well, I also really like some of the little quiet moments because you end up with this big spread. It's a spontaneous composition. And do you guys see the little guinea pig on the lower right-hand corner? It looks like it was scribbled in about 15 seconds. And those are some of my favorite moments that come out of these gesture drawing sessions. So Veronica, great job, because I can tell you, I was not doing this when I was 15. I was like doing fan art of like The Cure and stuff like that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. We should do a high school stream, right, Jordan? Because what were you drawing? You were drawing like paintbrushes coming out of your head or something?
No, not that. That wasn't me. I did like weird flowy colors coming out of the pencil though.
Okay, well there you go. I was sort of close. If you guys want to be considered for a YouTube shout out for Art Prof Share, just go to artprof.org, click on tutorials, and on the purple button you will find the Art Prof Share submission form. Or if you just want to show us, tag us on Instagram, use hashtag ArtProfShare. And we oftentimes share these in our Instagram stories. We love seeing what you guys are making. Please join us in the Discord. The link is in the video description below. And Jordan and Lauryn and I, we will be over there in about 5 or 10 minutes. And subscribe to our channel and join the Art Prof family. And if you guys have not seen this, I just posted this morning a thank you video from the entire staff. Please watch it because you guys are so, so important to what we do here. And we just really wanted to express our gratitude for everybody chipping in and helping us and supporting us. So it's only like 2 minutes and it's got some sappy piano music. So, of course you want to listen to that. Thank you so much to our top Patreon supporters. Thank you to all of you guys for chiming in. We will see you on Discord in about 5 or 10 minutes. Bye.